The rain lashed against the windows of the quiet restaurant as Daniel Whitmore, one of the most powerful CEOs in America, stirred his untouched coffee, his tailored suit, custom Rolex, and the faint scent of his expensive cologne didn't hide the exhaustion carved deep into his face. To the world, Daniel had everything. A billion-dollar tech empire, sprawling mansions across the country, and a life most people only dreamed of. But inside, Daniel felt hollow. His success, once thrilling, now felt meaningless. His days were a blur of board meetings, profit margins, and handshakes that carried no warmth. Tonight, he sat alone at a corner table, hidden behind a towering stack of reports he had foolishly brought to dinner. Not because he needed to work, but because he had no one waiting for him at home. The restaurant was nearly empty, save for a few families scattered around. His eyes wandered aimlessly until they caught sight of a little girl at a nearby table. She couldn't have been older than 8 or 9. Her brown hair was pulled into 2 messy pigtails, and her laughter, pure, bright, floated across the room like a forgotten melody. She was sitting with her mother, a woman who wore tired eyes and an apron with a faded name tag. Sarah. They weren't eating. The mother was folding napkins and wiping down tables between checking on her daughter, who colored on scraps of paper. Daniel returned to his reports, but somehow the warmth from their table kept pulling his gaze back. As he signed the check for his untouched meal, a small shadow approached. He looked up to see the little girl standing timidly at the edge of his table, clutching a folded napkin in her small hands. Without a word, she placed it in front of him and scampered back to her mother, who offered Daniel an apologetic smile and mouthed, "I'm sorry." Curious, Daniel unfolded the napkin. Inside, in childish handwriting, it read, "I hope you're okay. You look like you need a friend. My mommy says when people are sad, a little kindness can help. You can have my best drawing if you want. Love, Emily." Attached to the note was a crayon drawing. A stick figure man standing next to a little girl, both smiling under a big, bright sun. Daniel stared at it, the words blurring as tears welled in his eyes. No one, not in years, had asked if he was okay. No one had offered kindness without wanting something in return. The walls he had built, the armor of wealth and power, cracked open in an instant. He wiped his eyes hastily, glancing over at Emily, who beamed at him as if handing out sunshine was the simplest thing in the world. After a few moments, he stood up, crumpled his reports into a pile, and walked over to their table. "Hi," he said, his voice rougher than he intended. "Is it okay if I join you for a moment?" Emily clapped her hands. "Of course, you're my new friend." Sarah looked unsure, but nodded. They talked about silly things at first. Emily told him about her dream of becoming an artist and how she helped her mom at the diner after school, because being a team was important. Daniel learned that Sarah was a single mother, working 2 jobs to keep a roof over their heads after her husband had passed away from cancer 2 years ago. Emily had never once complained. Instead, she colored pictures for her mom to make her day better. Listening to them, Daniel felt something he hadn't in a long time: connection. Real, unfiltered, human connection. Later that night, as the rain continued to fall, Daniel sat in his penthouse suite, staring at the napkin and crayon drawing propped up on his desk. He thought about Emily's simple act of kindness, about Sarah's quiet strength. He realized that all his success, his empires, his fortune, none of it mattered if he didn't use it for something greater, something human. That night, Daniel made a decision. A month later, the diner was buzzing with excitement. TV crews lined the sidewalk. Sarah wiped her hands nervously on her apron, still not fully understanding what was happening. Daniel stepped through the door, dressed casually this time, a warm smile on his face. In his hand, He held a thick envelope. He knelt down to Emily's level. "Hey, partner," he said, using the nickname Emily had given him. "Remember when you said being a team was important?" Emily nodded enthusiastically. "Well, I want to be on your team too, and your mom's." He handed the envelope to Sarah, who opened it with trembling hands. Inside were documents. Legal papers transferring ownership of the diner to her name, completely debt-free, along with a personal check large enough to secure Emily's future through college and beyond. Tears streamed down Sarah's face as she tried to find the words. "You don't have to say anything," Daniel said softly. "Your daughter saved me when I didn't even realize I needed saving. This is the least I can do." Over the following months, Daniel changed his company policies, implementing generous family leave, scholarships for employees' children, mental health support programs. He still ran a billion-dollar empire, but now it meant something. And on the corner of his massive office desk, next to his awards and glossy business magazines, sat a crumpled napkin and a child's drawing. A reminder that the smallest acts of kindness can change the course of someone's life forever. Moral of the story: sometimes the world doesn't need another billionaire. It needs someone who remembers what it means to be human. Kindness, no matter how small, has the power to heal even the deepest wounds.